This is Snakes and Otters, a pointless discussion of eternal questions. Get ready. We're about to live in your head rent-free.
Hello, Otterites. This is episode 253, Code of Honor, and we're out here at the ranch today. And I'm Cajun, and we've got a special guest here, Mrs. Cajun. Say hi.
Hi, everybody.
All right.
Well
everybody
done.
else?
I am Martin.
And I'm Robert.
I'm Francis.
I'm Andre.
All righty. Well, it's Code of Honor today, and we're going to go, you know me and Mo, Emperor all go in different routes sometimes, and like to shake three of the fellows up sometimes.
Yes.
And actually, one of these fellows is a dedicated fan of the show, I will say, too. He's watched a lot of it. Haven't you, Robert? Dexter.
Oh, yes. Love Dexter. Love
Okay,
it.
I'm pulling a quote from Dexter today, and he's a controversial character, depending on how you look at him and what you think and so forth.
He's definitely the most interesting anti-hero out there, in my opinion.
Exactly.
For someone who may not have ever seen the show Dexter, give me an overview of who he is.
Dexter is a serial killer that hunts serial killers. His father was a cop
That old story.
that trained him to train his abilities in a beneficial way to society. Yeah, you've got the urges, we can't get rid of them, they're there, they're who you are, so let's take and point it in a positive direction.
So he's a serial killer of serial killers?
Right.
Yes, he has a
Hunts serial
code.
killers. He has a particular code for them to fit his criteria on who he takes out, which is other serial killers. And he's made several revisions and repeat new series since the original ended after 9 seasons, was it?
Eight.
Okay, 8. We got a original sin that took back to the younger days. Very good cast of actors there.
Yes.
Michael Hall was not, well, he narrated and was in the background on that one. And then we've had 2 more new series with running recently. New Blood was the first one to come back. No.
Yes. New Blood.
New Blood. And now we're into Dexter Resurrection.
Yes.
So he's a very interesting character. It's like you said, one of the most interesting anti-heroes out there.
Yeah, he's different because, you think of anti-heroes, you think of somebody like the Punisher.
Yeah, I was going to go Frank Castle, yeah.
And yes,
Even
he is-
Batman at times.
and Batman has been portrayed as an anti-hero because they have a darkness to them. And, Dexter calls it his dark passenger.
Exactly.
And especially with somebody like the Punisher, because when I think of anti-hero, to me, he's the quintessential. He's just flat out effing nuts, really. I mean,
Hi, I'm
he's-
Frank.
exactly. I mean, they've
but
had
his whole
periods.
family got murdered and
Yes.
everything. And
Not
that
to say he
kinda
doesn't have
threw him off
reasons.
the deep end, yeah.
Right. And he's on a vengeance thing, just like Batman.
Well, Dexter grew up with it. Well, his early years had some very, very tragic beginnings.
Yes.
That probably helped influence it. But I think the traits was already there.
Well, I don't know. It goes to the nature versus nurture thing.
Yeah.
Certainly,
Harry's father made the best of what was there, so that was nurturing too, in a way, of
Yes.
what was already nature, it seems to be. But it's
you've
a good argument.
yeah, and you've got his son Harrison, that in New Blood shows up. Probably a little bit older than he should be for the time that has passed, but we will let that go for the moment.
Creative management.
Exactly, and there's a question as whether or not he is going to follow in Dexter's footsteps because he has a similar origin story where
Very much.
he is a baby, a small child when his mother is brutally murdered. So as Dexter likes to say, he was born in blood. That's when he was truly born.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah.
I mean, very, very similar.
And so there's always in these anti-heroes a tragic origin story. Batman's parents get killed. Frank Castle's wife and children get killed in front of him. The mother, both Dexter and Harrison.
Leroy Gibbs, NCIS. His
Yes.
family got killed. Is he quite an anti-hero? I would say yes. He fits it in there. Not quite as strong as some of the other ones, but he definitely has a code he goes by, and he will cross the line when it's justified by his code.
Yes, he will. Certainly, which has caused him problems down the line.
Very much so.
Yes,
These make for really good stories, too.
they
One of
do
the reasons
because
that
you've
works.
got the personal as well as the global conflicts there.
And it adds a great redemption arc at some point if that's the route you want to go.
Maybe.
With Dexter,
or damnation.
Yeah, or damnation. With Dexter, we don't even know at this point which way that is going. We're seeing some hints of redemption in some forms, but not all the way across the board either.
Well,
But-
the good-
Because Dexter has crossed the line in his own code
Yes.
before.
well, yeah, you
which-
have to have the ambiguity to make a good story. Will they be redeemed or will they be damned?
It's
And you have to
the-
keep that tension going.
It's the life or death version of Sam and Diane.
or there's no black and white. It's shades of gray, too. I mean, even though you have a code, sometimes it cannot fit every scenario.
Perhaps
Well, good
you
and
can write it
evil
either way.
are perspectives. You know, if you were living in Germany in the 1930s, World War II might have looked different than if you're in America.
Very much so.
So you know, our anti-heroes and heroes.
The
are just-
German people were starving. The economy was, and somebody comes along and starts building everything up, and people start eating and stuff. To the common people, that's not a bad thing. But the motivator behind it, yeah, right. So yeah, you never know. But-
Complicated.
okay, here's the quote I'm going to throw out from the Dexter Show. I have no idea which writer wrote this for which episode. I didn't go that far.
We will attribute it simply to Dexter.
Martin, you had something though you wanted
No,
to
no,
say?
no. I was just going to offer to tee up
okay.
Cajun with reading the actual quote.
Yes, yes.
We did a lot of Dexter setup. I was
Well, Brother
anxious for a
Andre was
quote.
not real familiar with the character of the show. I think the rest of us have seen bits,
Yeah.
pieces, or read
And,
about it.
we were channeling our inner Francis doing the setup.
Oh, there you go. Very well. No, but we didn't put a Star Trek reference. Well, wasn't that a serial killer
Live
that
long and
appeared on
prosper.
Star Trek at some point?
Wolf in the
Oh,
Fold.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Red
wonderful.
Jack,
there
Red
we
Jack,
go.
Red
Just-
Jack.
yeah. Okay, so now we got Star Trek in, so it's really like Francis said.
Red Jack, Red Jack, Red Jack.
All right. We've
Voiced by
abused
Winnie the
Francis
Pooh.
enough for the moment, I guess.
Let's do it. Here,
Everyone hides who they are at least some of the time. Sometimes you bury that part of yourself so deeply you have to be reminded it's even there at all. I'll read that once more. Everyone hides who they are at least some of the time. Sometimes you bury that part of yourself so deeply you have to be reminded it's even there at all. And I think there's a lot of truth to that in humanity itself. As human beings, we all tend to do this in some form or fashion. Maybe not as deep as Dexter is portraying to, but I think everybody buries pieces or parts of themselves they're not entirely easy with, comfortable with. Those thoughts where your neighbor is pissing you off and you want to kill them and bury them in the back 40. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not me. Never mind. Strike that one.
Well,
But
you know-
anyway, hit it off, fellas.
Now, the question that I want to start with is, from whom do we hide parts of ourselves from? Ourselves or others or both?
Both.
Both.
I would say both.
It's always a both and, yeah.
I mean, this is a theme that runs through lots of kinds of art, music, poetry, literature, everything. You know, we put on a face to hide from the faces that we see,
Well, and
and that's
it's-
both in the mirror and in public.
and it's not just the bad stuff. Sometimes we hide the good stuff so that we enable ourselves to do the stuff we know we ought not to.
Ooh, I got a perfect example.
Go ahead.
None of y'all's real names have been put out there as we do this show for various reasons. That's a
well,
form
that's
of
true.
hiding yourself.
Although
Not
you-
a bad one of
Yeah.
anything, but
Although
yeah.
you have outed me partially.
Yes, we have. We happen to have the same first name in real life.
Well, anybody that knows
when I
us,
gave you the book,
they listen,
Yes.
they know who
that
we
was
are.
signed by David Weber.
Yes, which is an awesome thing. You are the greatest gift giver of all of us. I will give you that.
Oh my, I'm all bubbly inside.
I'm kind of
Francis, what were you going to say?
I'm kind of questioning this entire when you're talking about this. Are we making a commentary about an inherent duality of the human person,
Ooh, interesting.
or
bring up-
is there simply one nature, and it is simply hidden at times?
Fascinating.
Oh,
and that's the whole
is-
point of this
are
quote.
both
is
entities-
explore it and look
I-
at the different
And
possibilities.
here's the example that I'll pull out for that you all are well aware of is the strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Who is the real person here? Because
Right.
essentially the way Stevenson wrote it, they both are.
Exactly.
And
They
that's
are.
that's kind of the whole
we
point.
all are.
And-
we all
and
have
they
a
just
dark
simply
side.
they simply give a way of hiding
Oh,
it specific.
you don't.
One side is potty trained and the other side isn't. Huh?
Maybe I
Well,
just
it's
hide
a-
my dark
it's a
side better
far
than
too
the rest of
graphic
you.
way of putting it. But
Well,
yes, that is correct.
another way to put that question is who's the monster? Frankenstein or the being that he created.
Oh,
That's
some of
exactly
us are
right.
darker
Yeah,
than
that's-
others,
that's
Brother
the
Andre.
same thing. It's just it is
I'll give you that.
exploring that theme, the duality, the essential good versus evil that is in every human heart.
I mean, we are an amalgam of many things, all of us,
Yes.
except for Brother Andre. He's just
He's all good.
he's
Sweet.
all good.
Okay, fellas. Hey, let me
But
break
the-
in here for a moment, and I'll probably get slapped at the backside of the head. But we actually have somebody has a psychological degree with us today.
Yes, she does.
Yeah, I mean that's
Uh-huh.
definitely where I was
Mrs.
headed.
Cajun here does have a psychological degree. Let's put
Well,
in a little 2 cents.
It's not
from
fair
the,
to put her on the spot.
textbook side of
Well,
it.
the fact that she has that degree is I find very fascinating, considering the psychopathy that we just discussed in terms of her and some of her traits and habits. But okay,
And she's my spouse.
And
too,
she-
so that
yeah,
says
yeah.
a whole hell of a lot.
yeah,
doesn't it?
well, that already.
And
Anybody
puts
that's-
up with you jokers.
anybody that has partnered up with any of us is a little bit suspect psychologically to begin with. So
So, what's your thoughts?
Well, I guess I'm curious about Dexter being possibly a sociopath, but he does have feelings, and I think that's interesting because they contradict themselves.
Well, that's true but early on in the beginning, he was portrayed as not having feelings. He did not understand human feeling. It was only in the context of his marriage that he started to understand them and understood what love was. So which is interesting because he had a loving family that he grew up in, but it wasn't until he got married that he truly began to understand feelings.
Mrs. Cajun, does a true sociopath not have feelings or doesn't understand them? Because that's a difference. As I understand it, a sociopath can't experience feelings, but they can understand them and manipulate them.
Yes, and that's exactly what a sociopath is. It's someone that doesn't understand feelings, but they're excellent at
Manipulation.
manipulation.
Manipulators, yeah, they're
Is that Dexter or is he a psychopath?
Well,
What is the clinical
sociopath,
definition of psychopath as opposed to
Sociopath, yeah.
It's the
sociopath?
same.
I always thought there was a difference.
There's a little bit of a difference.
I don't know. I
You're
have to
arguing
look
with
at
the
my
expert.
DSM.
I do it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't sure that there was a difference.
Psychopath, I don't think can maneuver between the feelings like a sociopath
Well-
can understand them even if he's not experienced them.
Is it? I always thought it was in the context of understanding right versus wrong, as opposed to
That's part of it too, I've heard. And
Yeah.
The
No,
psychopath understands that.
No, I think go the other way.
I thought it was sociopath understands that society has a right and wrong.
Right, that I know.
Yeah.
Psychopath, I'm not sure about. the
Well,
definition
I've checked with Mr. Google, who is, of course, never wrong.
Yes.
But psychopathy is often linked to genetic factors and neurological differences, leading to more calculated and charming demeanor, while sociopathy is more likely a result of environmental factors like childhood trauma, resulting in more impulsive and erratic behavior.
Well, that's Dexter.
Which
But
That's
shows
what
why
I
they
was
can
saying.
understand.
Sociopath.
yeah. I mean,
Can understand the emotions. there.
Right, but
One is nature, the other is nurture, too. They're, as it's defined
yes,
here.
yes, yeah. Martin, did you start to say something?
just the psychopath understands that his actions impact people. He just doesn't care. The sociopath doesn't understand always that his actions impact other people.
Not
but
correct.
in either
His or
situation, I
her.
think they don't care.
I think the sociopath can learn to care.
Yeah.
Like we've been seeing on
Yeah.
the Dexter evolution because they can function, they try to understand, and at some point, some of that starts sinking into their personality and so forth.
Well, Dexter is fiction too. I don't know how that really works in the real
Yeah,
world.
see, that's the real hard part.
Too, though.
do-
I think
it
that's what
is
makes it
different.
realistic. It works.
Because
Somewhat realistic, but
right, because if Dexter does not grow beyond the initial cold, emotionless killer that we who only that's not entirely true. He does get excited. He gets excited over the blood and the death.
exactly.
So it's not
doesn't?
it's not a sexual thing for him as it often is with serial killers, which is interesting. That is not because that really eluded him early on. The whole he didn't really understand it. His girlfriend was cover initially, whereas later it grew into a real relationship.
I think a lot of that has to do with Harry and Harry
Yes.
developing him and his code and so forth. That
That's-
it didn't branch off into certain other areas.
Yeah, that's a great point because I think a lot of the ones that we talk about, whether they're sociopath or psychopath, they don't have a Harry in the sense that their nature, their proclivities are not recognized early enough to by somebody who can channel it like Harry did. That's
So is Harry the quintessential mentor?
Yes. He was his father, cop, he mentored.
moral mentor.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
Mentor is in the classical sense, someone
Yeah.
who
And
guides the
technically
protagonist.
physical too on getting rid of the bodies. And
That's
not
true,
getting
yeah.
caught because he knew police procedure too. I mean, so
Yeah, he's
all
not
the way around.
mentor in the sense of helping him understand and get better at killing, so much as he is understanding and helping him get better at hiding, which is the other half of it. You
and
know,
making
'cause-
it functional for a good.
yes,
purpose,
and
a better
channeling.
purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess he does. It's an odd mentor. It's probably the oddest mentor
Yeah,
relationship
I
ever.
mean, it's just kind of this is the hard part for me is can the urge to kill be channeled in that manner? Generally speaking, serial killers, it's the thrill of the hunt, and the consequences and who is being hunted isn't really that material.
The high of the blood.
Well, it
They had
depends.
Harry starting to do it when Dexter was very, very, very young. I mean,
Speak more into your microphone because we're missing. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Harry was doing it more when Dexter was very, very young. So he started out at a point where Dexter hadn't even developed, into itself yet. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, really close to puberty is when it really, because I mean, he's what, 4 or 5.
but he recognized signs earlier on.
Yeah, but yeah, and of course, probably until you get to puberty, you're not really able to even express it
Which
yourself.
I think is
properly.
the intellectual theme of the entire series is what if, that great question, what if someone catches a serial killer early enough and then channels them accordingly? Can they be a force for good? Is the villain capable of that?
Well, then
mean,
we have an example of military forces. I mean, using
was gonna do the
certain
same thing.
people that is less emotional, snipers and so forth, being trained to carry out missions, CIA, other possible black ops out there that we know nothing about that we do know exist.
The stories that I write for in my novels are all about those characters.
So, and the interesting thing about them that is a great parallel to the serial killers, the ones that the society frowns on. All the society would probably frown on somebody like a John.
He's gone too far.
Because he's government funded, we recognize the necessity of him.
Right.
But the interesting thing is, and the parallel is that, especially with a sniper, is a great example of this. They're taught to dehumanize the target because even though it's shooting somebody from a distance, sniping is probably one of the most intimate other than walking up to somebody putting a gun directly to their head, one of the most intimate forms of killing someone because you're not exactly eye to eye, and depending on the distance,
No, and
but
you
you're
may
damn
spend-
close though.
You spend days usually getting associated with that target and watching their patterns
Yes.
and so forth. So it's really quite intimate in that sense. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not the quick thing. You go out and sit in a tree and shoot somebody immediately, boom.
Which
Right.
actually makes for a better story anyway.
Yeah, and it's not killing somebody that's just a faceless guy in a uniform, because usually, I mean, outside of sniping in war, the way it is now, because war is very asymmetrical compared to where it was
Yeah.
in the middle of the prior to the middle of the 20th century or the end of the 20th century. It's different. It's just entirely different. Sniping
It
is
is.
even different.
But I think we need to jump back to Brother Andre's comment over here a minute ago. Which direction we were headed towards this quote in, whether it's for others or whether for oneself, I think.
When I first
That's
heard,
more what I was hitting towards with this quote, was going into the
Yeah, yeah.
self-psychological part of it.
when I first heard the quote, I thought to myself is that we hide our darkest parts of ourselves from ourselves because we don't want to
We
acknowledge
can't cope with
yeah,
that.
well, we don't want to
we can't cope
acknowledge
with-
that we're not perfect in every way, and that
The entire addiction
and that-
process is built on that usually.
Well, it's very hard to cope with what we're capable of. We don't think we're capable of things, horrible things, but we are because we're human beings,
it's a matter of perspective.
and
again.
all human
Well,
beings
it's
are.
perspective and situation and circumstances.
So,
I
you know.
mean,
know-
what would you do to save your spouse or children in a dire circumstance?
Right.
And not
you know,
think twice about it.
when the
it's-
zombie
it's-
apocalypse comes,
You
can
said
you?
it out here at the ranch. Take for instance, it's 3:00 in the morning. Someone walks through that door with intent of doing harm, and you have to make a decision, and you take a life. Is that's a very bad thing. But
Which I had a similar situation. I think I talked about it on an earlier podcast where a delivery driver from Amazon, fresh off the boat from somewhere else apparently.
Oh yes, yes.
Did I talk about
You
this
did.
on Mike?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. You might not have been part of the group at that time.
uh,
Okay. I'll give that's a good example. We'll run through that. In fact, we were asleep in bed, and all of a sudden there was a banging on the back door to the sunroom back by our bedroom, which is really strange because you have to go all the way around the house to get back that way.
Yeah, past multiple doors to do it.
It turns out it was an Amazon delivery driver delivering a pair of shoes to somebody, I think. I won't focus on that point, but shoes.
Hey, I'm
Probably
expecting
should
a
have
hat
shot him
today.
for that.
Yeah,
I probably should have shot him for that, but
Fine.
I'm right there with you. Shoes, hats, what you know.
I mean, we're talking basic, very minimal English on what he is trying to convey. That, and he wanted me to sign for the shoes. And this was
Sign?
at 5 a.m., still dark. This was like colder parts of the year, so it was still dark. And I had the
area-
gun behind myself, holding it behind myself. I opened the door, grabbed the box, tossed the box in, and shut the door and told him to get off the property, basically.
Right.
Now, this is where it gets real interesting.
This is the guy that sat in the driveway, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
This fellow goes halfway down my driveway, which is 1,900 feet long. You can convey that to about a quarter mile or so. And he's halfway down the driveway. He stops, goes out, and opens his trunk. I'm sitting in my easy chair in the living room watching this fellow at this point.
Right, because you want to make
With
sure
my
this guy
12
leaves
gauge
the
across
property.
my lap, drinking a cup of coffee to see what's going on because it was just all strange to begin with.
I love it. Cajun is the only guy that's going to sit there, guard the property, and calmly drink a cup of coffee, contemplating whether or not he's going to have to bury a body.
Exactly.
Then
No,
you have
I
to
didn't
fire
think I
for
would have to
backhoe.
bury it because I would have been in the
Right
total
there
right.
with you. All,
I
power.
mean, I would have been in a legal good shoot on this one.
You would,
probably.
yes, yes.
But anyway, yeah, he stops, he opens his trunk, and then what does he do? He takes a prayer rug from the trunk.
Yes,
As the
yes.
sun is coming up to be able to pray to Mecca, I would assume.
Towards Mecca.
Towards Mecca, there you go.
Yeah, we don't want to get in trouble
Which
with our
is
Muslim
that away.
listeners.
Yeah, he's facing east
So
on
at
his
this
prayer
point,
rug.
when he
Fact,
stopped
fact.
and opened the trunk and sitting there for a few minutes, I called the cops. Well, it took 45 minutes for the sheriff's department to show up, and he's still been out there this whole time.
That's an awfully long
He was
time.
out there when the sheriff's department guy had to come from
Oh,
Bloomfield.
no. I mean, for him to still be
Oh,
praying.
he was
45
no, he
minutes.
was waiting for the sun to come up at this point.
Oh,
It wasn't time to start the prayer yet.
He was just getting ready and
He
waiting.
was getting ready and
couldn't
waiting
wait at-
before he
he
started
couldn't wait at the
driving
main
down the
road?
road.
Well, yeah, depending on where he was going to go, maybe he thought this was the best place to do
But
it.
Yeah, no.
apparently, we were not the first stop that morning. He'd already had a calls on him to the state police.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, the sheriff's department kind of gave him a good talking to. It's not smart to go around knocking on people's doors before daylight out here in the country.
In farmland, you never approach a house without announcing yourself loudly and from a distance.
Yeah, like I say, 1,900-foot driveway. I'm well off the roadside. I mean, somebody come knocking on the door at that time, either it's a neighbor in trouble or it's somebody trying to cause trouble, basically, is what you think.
I've always been told, if you approach a farmhouse out in the middle of nowhere, you stand out in the dooryard and you just yell until somebody comes.
Now, I'm not being negative on this fella for wanting to do his morning prayers and everything, freedom of religion, all that. That's all good. But somebody did not educate him on how to get around the countryside properly, being this new to the country and taking a job delivering packages
Yeah, I
that
mean,
fast. And
you
what
don't
time
you
he
don't
should
sit around
start
on
and so
people's
forth.
properties. Go,
Yeah.
go
I
find
mean-
someplace.
And the weird thing to me was, I mean, it's all weird. There's a breakdown in a lot of ways there because why is he asking for a signature on a pair of shoes?
Yes.
Amazon does not
Everything else-
require a signature for anything.
Not anymore, no. They did for a while there at the beginning, way back when.
But that's way back
Too
then.
many
Electronics,
shotguns got pulled on
yeah.
drivers, I hear.
Apparently he wasn't educated well enough on his job, how to do it, social interactions out in the country. I mean, there's a whole lot of people that actually started him out at a loss, shall we say.
Yes.
Like I say, I don't hold anything
Cultural
against him. The
diversity.
situation was very suspicious. I was cautious. I did not overreact. I just
That's the
watched
key.
carefully,
That's the
prepared,
key. Just
which is always the case. I mean,
just watch and understand. it's a threat analysis,
Right.
is what it is.
I mean, you always be prepared to take action if you need to. You don't have a weapon available and not intend to use it. That's the first thing that'll get you in trouble and dead.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and all of this is to say, to illustrate the point that we don't really, to Martin's point, we are capable of both great evil and great good, given the right circumstances. As I was about to say earlier before somebody else went on, you know, in the zombie apocalypse, or any apocalypse,
Not if, when.
I didn't say if, I said in. So in the zombie apocalypse, you know, you have to be prepared to kill just about anybody else because they're going to want to take your resources. So, you know, as Cajun said, to what lengths are you willing to go to protect your spouse and your children, your extended family, whatever?
Well, Morton just made a perfect thing saying on that threat analysis.
Yes.
Are they beneficial to you and your group, and can you make a trustworthy ally out of them? Because you're not going to survive without trustworthy people. You have
Right.
to sleep sometime.
Yes. Yes.
So threat analysis is a
I
very
mean,
good term for anything along that lines.
There was an incident just yesterday in Louisville, if you read the news.
Oh, yes.
A fella broke into a woman's home early in the day, kidnapped her and her children, forced her into her car, and made her drive to a bank for a bank. Basically held a knife to her and said, "Give me money or I'm going to kill this woman." And it's like, wow, how do you get in the house? How do you have? I mean, it's terrifying, but at the same time, it's like that should have been preventable. That should have been preventable with some just really easy, basic stuff.
Situational awareness, which most people don't have these days.
I'm hearing and reading online that the new thing for criminals is to find a home that has a lot of shrubbery and plants in the front and drop a phone with an extended battery with the camera on facing the home and monitor that home through that camera 4 times to break in or to take advantage of the homeowners leaving. It's like,
Fascinating.
I'm like, dude, cut that stuff down. I mean, that's an easy fix.
I have clear fields of fire, don't I? Mark?
That's right.
That's right.
I was going to bring that up when you were talking about, listeners, when he's talking about a fella 1,900 feet down the driveway, trust me, he's got a clear field of fire
Well,
all the way to the gate.
In a 50
Them
caliber
little painted
windshield.
rocks at every 100 yards you don't notice don't have any purpose out there.
That
That's
I
right.
have not noticed. I'll have to pay attention when I drive
Well,
back down the driveway.
and of course, you know, we call this a ranch, but really this is a farm.
Right.
It's
you
a
know,
working farm.
It is
but
a working farm. It's not as big of an operation as it once was, obviously, given.
but you can see from the living room window all the way to the road. So
Well,
trust me.
depending on the size of the crops, you know, that open field of fire is not as good as it sometimes is.
But then you have to deal with Malachi, the children of the corn.
Oh, yes. Mrs. Cajun brings that up all the time while we're sitting out back.
Oh, that's funny.
I love
That's
the children
funny.
of the corn.
But we've kind of gotten
You are
away again
demented.
from the psychological point of this quote and human nature.
I mean, we've taken it down a very, very dark thing, but there are lots of things that people hide from others. I mean, you hide your anger, you hide your embarrassment,
Yes.
but-
you hide lots
Okay.
of stuff.
Let me throw this then to get it back on track. Does it make a person bad because you do have dark thoughts at times that you hide from others? I mean,
No,
is it natural or is it,
it's
let's break
incredibly
it down.
natural.
Well, the question might be how much of it is natural and when is it not?
Well, yes, and as far as when you talk about bad or good, you know, obviously the three of us are going to take that from a religious aspect. Random thoughts are relatively neutral because you know your mind is doing stuff and there's no telling what visual, auditory, or smell cue that might touch off a random thought. We've all had that happen, and whether or not you keep indulging in those random thoughts is when you get to whether or not it's problematic. So, you know, you have somebody cut you off and you think, oh man, what would happen if that guy's head just exploded in his car right now?
Morton.
Yeah,
You know-
I hope you end up in a ditch spitting blood.
Yeah, those kind of thoughts. But now, if you continue with those, and it gets progressively,
Yeah, I mean, if I deliberately run him then off the road,
well, even if,
like I
well,
kind of crossed the line.
That's where we cross the line.
well,
I kind of crossed.
no,
the line.
you're right. That does cross the line. But even before that, if you keep on with those thoughts, you've crossed the line. Because I go back to when Jesus talks about how when you have lusted in your heart, it is the same thing as adultery, right? Because you have given into those dark thoughts. And when you give into those dark thoughts and start exploring them, that's when it becomes problematic.
Give in to the dark side. They have cookies.
That's right. They have cookies. And what did Cajun provide for Francis to take home?
Cookies.
Butterscotch.
Butterscotch cookies, bitches.
Yes.
But I'll make an argument that we all have dark thoughts,
Yes.
Except for
but
you.
we don't sin or we don't move into the darkness until we act upon those thoughts.
I disagree.
Ooh.
I'm going with Brother Andre on this more so. And they can be there. You can be in your mind. The lust is a sin before.
It's the
anything
exploration to me.
I think that's human nature, though. Human nature, our mind explores.
All right, so what do we
different
call
paths
those?
and avenues and
Near occasion of sin.
Noose.
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 near occasion, huh? Is that kind of like a grenade is almost blowing things up?
Sort of. Sort of,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I can't go on that side of it.
so when the reason I say that I disagree, because I'm surprised you said that, to be perfectly honest. When I say you give into those thoughts, it's not that means not. I don't mean that you have them, but you start indulging in them. So sexual thoughts are obviously the easiest one because those are probably the most universal. Although if you listen to Martin, the road rage is probably more universal.
No.
No, what?
I will put
Trespasses?
the lustful thoughts are more frequent than the violent thoughts.
Okay. When
I mean,
it's
close.
right? It's very close. For some of us, it's very close. Sometimes
Now,
it
he
even
starts
takes
combining
precedence.
automobile violence with sexual thoughts, then he might be a problem.
Yeah,
Then we get into the serial killer
Yeah,
territory.
I don't go there. I do like. keep them
But
separate.
when you give into those dark thoughts and indulge them and explore them, so if you see a pretty woman or a good-looking guy walk down the street, and you start building out these fantasies in your head, then yes, you have gone too far because the thoughts become sinful. Thoughts are actions. When you specifically, purposely indulge in those thoughts and you explore those ideas, those situations, that's an act.
Fantasies are harmless, dog.
Well, the pagan would say that.
So I got.
And I'm falling down on his side too, so yeah.
I got one other thing for you, and then I want to. It's about time for bourbon break, right? We're 30 in.
32 minutes in. Wow.
Okay.
really?
So my
Alright.
sense of timing's good. So I'll just lay some Shakespeare on you. Nothing's either good nor bad, but thinking makes it so.
Isn't that what I just said?
It's to say, isn't that what Robert just said? Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good. Then that's
Well, I mean,
a quick sum up then.
well, yes, but
Yeah,
I mean, I
don't
thought
agree
you
with
did,
Shakespeare either.
but I thought
No,
you
it just
disagreed with what I was saying.
went into bad thoughts, and I was like,
He's a hack.
anything can happen. And it's just,
Well,
nothing good nor bad, but thinking makes it so.
the problem I have with that statement is that it denies an objective good and bad.
Yes, it does. It does. It absolutely does.
And-
And that's the point of that part of the play.
Right. And speaking from a Thomistic point of view, if you can reason out the existence of God, as we talked about in the last episode, then that implies that, and if we look at societies across the world, it would seem so, that there is a universal standard of certain minimum good and bad. There is no society where it is good to randomly kill, maim, murder, and steal. It just it does not exist.
The Incas might have disagreed.
That's true.
No,
Oh,
that's not random. It's
Okay,
not random.
Okay, good point.
That was religion to them, I guess. But I'll play off of Morton here. All the world is a stage to our quote.
It is.
Who are we and who are we really?
Well, and that is very much your
Yeah,
quote.
yeah, well, I
It
mean,
Okay,
is-
let's hit
Yes,
the
very
bourbon
much.
break.
Yes, yeah, we'll take that up when we come back from bourbon break. That is a very good point too.
bourbon break.
That was is so interesting.
Yes, you could. Yes, you need to talk about the alcohol that you're drinking because we
Yes.
have to talk about what's in our glass.
Oh, I'm drinking wine, Chardonnay specifically.
Wine.
Wine.
Would you like some please with your wine?
Yes,
Oh, no, no, look,
Cajun is
love
a
my
wine connoisseur. I think
What are you
goes
drinking?
back to California days.
I'm drinking Chardonnay, but I had a
What's the label?
Sonoma Coutier.
Okay, and that means absolutely nothing to the rest of us.
It's a white
It's
wine.
a
bottle we
decent
got.
Chardonnay, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So is it sweet? Is it
yeah, Chardonnays are
Buttery.
really sweet.
Dry and buttery.
dry and buttery? Okay,
Yeah.
so not sweet.
Okay.
Which, there's a little story behind this bottle. We had a gift certificate to all of us. And I realized the day before it expired that it was going to expire.
Ah, yes.
So the day it was going to expire, we had to meet with Uncle Tommy and Aunt Gail and that's
Hello, Tommy.
Casey, Aunt Gail's son Casey, for dinner that night. So we met with them, and what's the name of that restaurant? Everything Under the Sun. What was it? Under the Sun?
Everything under the sun.
Everything Under the Sun down on Boylston Road. I do not recommend it. But we'll just leave that there. That's my review of
Oh,
that.
yet another sponsorship down the drain.
Yeah. But after that, we went on over to Oliver's, which is at the gaming over on Popular River Road, I believe.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Derby City
Okay. Yes.
Gaming. Very, very good quality restaurant. So we went in there with this $200 gift certificate that I got for $100, and we ordered 3 desserts and 2 glasses of wine. And the maitre d' was wonderful. He said, the rest of it, we can hook you up with 2 bottles to take home. We have a package
Oh,
license
awesome.
too. So he made sure we got the most out of it at the last minute.
Oh, now that is a good maitre d'. That is
So that's
I
mark
highly
of
recommend
excellence.
Oliver's over at
Oliver's
Derby City Gaming.
Oliver's Chop House, Derby City Gaming, which is owned by Churchill Downs.
Right. Highly
If
recommend.
you're interested in a
Food is
sponsorship,
great.
yes. If you're interested in a sponsorship,
We've had the
we'll take
food too at
applications.
previous occasions, and it is something we definitely go back to when we can.
Well, that's excellent. A bottle of alcohol that has a good story behind it is always enjoyable. Even if we're not wine drinkers, that makes that an enjoyable.
I'm
bottle.
trying to be. I'm trying to learn some wine stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a little snooty for me.
And I
Mad
do
Dog
that.
2020.
Wine's no different than bourbon. It just has different flavors to it, but they're
No
all
different?
complex.
Is she allowed to live in this state and say that?
Yeah.
No
No,
different.
you go,
We
girl.
have enough
You go,
wineries
girl.
around now, so yeah.
See, I mean, I buy $9 bottles of wine, so I don't know anything, but
Oh, I've had cheap wine that's been awesome.
that's been excellent.
Mad Dog
Some
2020.
French wines
Boone's
are
Farm.
really inexpensive.
I mean,
I
I
going
like
back many a year there.
I like Argentinian wines, Malbecs, because
yeah, I love them all back.
I love having that with beef. So a steak.
Do we need to reban this as wine break?
No.
No. I'm being inclusive here, and
Well, that's a
Kentucky
first
does
for
have
us.
quite a few wineries now.
my,
Growing
Yes.
wine here locally in Kentucky. so we can't knock that
I'm
totally.
being positive. You got to run with it.
And some of it's being
See,
finished
we're just not
off-
used to that.
And some of it's being finished off in bourbon barrels too. So it does have
That's
a
true.
direct connection to bourbon.
That's true. Bourbon does reach far and wide into the rest of
Yeah.
the alcohol industry because finishing things in bourbon
Yeah.
barrels. Yeah, that is true. And vice versa. Angel's Envy is famous for finishing things in wine casks and what have
Sherry
you. And
casks.
sherry casks.
Yeah.
Copper and King finishes in apple brandy casks.
So,
and by the way, Copper and Kings was sold to somebody local.
Yes, they're back to local ownership
Yes.
from
Cool.
from like being bought out and back around. So
Good deal.
Yeah,
Good for them.
that's a
Good for
that's a
them.
phenomenal thing when I saw that.
So, yeah.
So, anyways, let's get to the bourbon part of
I
Bourbon
think
Break.
we're all drinking the same thing this time, ain't we?
Are we all drinking the Nulu?
The Nula? Yeah.
I think so.
Yes.
Oh, awesome. So, Cajun and I had this at LibertyCon, right?
Bourbon Festival.
Bourbon Fest, that's right.
On
What was it
Sunday.
we had at LibertyCon? There was one we hadn't tried there, I thought.
I had the Evan Williams 15-year-old along.
Right by when we were in the
And-
room. What was it the guy?
That was Scotch.
Oh, it was a Scotch. Okay.
That was the
I didn't
Scotch,
have
yeah.
the Scotch. Yeah, I had something else. I don't remember. But anyways, but yes, we had the Nulu at Bourbon Fest last year. Yes, which has been so long, I hardly remember what it was like. So it's almost like a new bourbon to me.
well, this felt maybe a little peppery to me, and then kind of smooth back out into sort of the caramel and vanilla. I think it's at a similar price point to the Peerless. I think I maybe enjoyed
Yeah.
the Peerless just a touch more. but this isn't too bad.
I think the peel is a little tad smoother once it settles out a little bit.
Yeah,
I think
I would
it's-
agree with that.
I think it's smoother because I wouldn't. It's not necessarily to me. Not necessarily smoother. It's the lack of complexity, so that it's there's not as much going on to me. It's not that it's harsh or anything, but this was when I first poured it over the ice, so before it had a chance to any kind of dilution and blooming. It was sharp. It was very sharp. But then after I let it sit, I thought it had a great mouthfeel.
Yes.
A little bit of sweetness in there. Just some different things going on that I like this better than I did the Peerless.
Okay, well, Nulu describes themselves as being prohibition craft spirits, so it's going to have a little bit harsher kick to it just from that description, I would say, which is appropriate.
Yeah.
It's another high proofer, though. I mean, it
It
what
is.
was it 117? So it's right there that same
Yeah.
kind of that same ballpark as the Peerless was like I think a
Yeah.
115.
It's a very rich color in the bottle. It really is.
Now, did
17.4.
the one thing tasting note that I picked up on it that no one has mentioned, I don't know if it's my inexperienced palate or not, but it was a peppermint or a spearmint on the front of the tongue on the initial taste.
I could see that.
And then it mellows out to the caramel and the vanilla that was described, and that peppermint sits on the tongue. I'm still tasting it. It's been several minutes since my last taste.
I
Okay,
can see that
good,
kind of like
good.
double spearmint,
Yeah.
spearmint, double mint gum. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Even after it's bloomed, I can see that. I would call it less caramel and a little bit more creamy.
Which their description on the bottle says a sweet and spicy bourbon, which is basically what we're describing, best of both sides.
Yeah, yeah. It's not quite a fruity taste that I got a hint of in the Peerless, and I'm not entirely sure I even had that exactly because it was so diluted at that point. It was kind of hard to tell. But to me, this is got a good blend of the two. There's enough going on to me that was more complex than the other, which is what makes me like it more.
It's an
Oh,
enjoyable
okay.
difference. It's not your standard taste.
Yeah, yeah,
Now, I would definitely buy this bottle.
yeah. Me too. Francis,
Francis?
There's a flatness to it, which is kind of
really?
mine is completely bloomed though. I didn't catch it right out of the gate, so there's a mildness to it, which that's why you're saying it's 117. I ain't tasting it because I guess I let it. The ice is mine. It's melted, so I guess it's completely changed.
And
the
we are
profile.
using the spherical ice,
It
so
hits
there's a lot of
harder
ice
at
to
the
melt.
beginning.
Yes.
We are using Cajun's big balls.
We are.
I enjoy having Cajun's balls in my mouth.
There you go. I appreciate it.
good
Really? See, I only have them in the glass. I don't I don't have the balls in my mouth.
I love Andre.
Not what you said at LibertyCon, sir.
Andre catching.
Well,
onto
what
the
happens
whole-
at LibertyCon stays at LibertyCon.
Maybe this is my hidden part of myself that I've kept hidden from all of you.
But you're
that
you're
could be.
pulling back the curtain and letting us see a little bit of that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You're joining into the spirit of the whole thing.
In other words, we are corrupting the poor man.
Well, I mean,
Even Jesus hung out with sinners.
That's
it's
true.
It's relative. I mean, he has.
Well, I'm glad you're hanging out with us sinners.
He has a long way to fall.
Well, yes.
He's on top of a building compared to me. So
Well, he's on top of the building compared to all of us, I think. I mean, we're not blowing smoke up your ass. I mean, really.
I've found Brother Andre to be just one of the kindest, nicest people
Yes.
in the whole world, and I appreciate our new friendship. And
I look at guys
love
like,
seeing him.
like you in the Brotherhood
And
and
laugh.
the Diaconate, and well, yes, but because I am one of those guys that always thinks I can never be enough or good enough, that you guys are the guys in the Diaconate that I aspire to.
God bless you.
It's because I think I'm a poor excuse as a deacon and a human being.
And
Sometimes
don't take this the wrong way. You should.
Well, no. I
you should
get.
all have that advantage.
I get what you're saying, but
In your mind, it's different than that.
well, yes, in my mind, it's because I acknowledge and I truly believe none of us are worthy of ordination, except that Christ makes us worthy.
Yes.
Yes.
And there are times that I've said it before, and it's a funny line, but I also it's true. I have higher standards than God because I would never have ordained me. It's like him. No. Nope.
I happen to know the first words you heard in training were from Father Richard Rohr, and he said, if you're worried about being worthy to be ordained, get over it. It's not about you.
That's right.
And
No, I get that. I get that. And it's one of the few things that Richard Rohr says that I would like, because honestly, I think he's a nutter.
I mean, listeners, Robert.
I mean, he has good things to say. Don't get me wrong.
Robert is one of the most faithful people I've ever been around,
amen.
and
Boy, I got you guys fooled.
and to feel that
Back to our theme for the episode.
he's not good enough.
Well, always working to
No,
be
I'm-
better is one thing.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
yes,
it doesn't mean anything for me to say you're good enough, but just know
It does.
that your faith impacts people in ways you don't understand.
And yes, intellectually, I do get that, because I'm always so humbled after Mass when I hear people come up and they tell me, things that I have said in a homily, how it has touched
And
them.
trust me, those
It
people
wasn't
are
you
sincere.
saying it.
They're
It was
not.
the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Well, I always say that the Holy Spirit gets all the credit for the good ones, and I take all the credit for the bad ones.
And as we said before, Robert did not grow up in the Catholic faith either. He
No, I did not.
converted
Chose it.
after blackmail from his children.
Not exactly, but it's
That's
certainly,
Close
interesting
enough
way
to
of
the
putting it.
story.
Yeah,
it
but,
certainly
yeah.
started that. Wouldn't
See,
you?
I've got a convert in my family now too, and
You don't know it, but you have
So-
two in your family.
well, I have one, and listen, if he can grow up to be anything like Robert, I'll be so proud of him.
Oh, well, thank you.
Oh,
I appreciate that.
That's so nice.
And he's
So tell
he
the
admires
story.
Francis a great deal.
Tell the story though about waking up and coming out to the conversation that was going on, because
Oh.
that just cracks me up every time I think about it going on in Martin's house
So again, listeners,
without us being there.
yeah, listeners. So Bjorn, my youngest, is currently living in Tokyo, Japan. How he comes to be a convert to Catholicism in a Shinto country. This is
Well,
one
it
of the,
started before that.
it's the mysteries of my life here. Yes, he did go to Catholic University at OBU, Boo,
Yes, boo.
at the Boo. So he, of course, it's his evening, but he makes contact with Mrs. Martin in our mornings. So right at about 7 a.m. or so. And Mrs. Martin grew up Presbyterian.
hmm
So that's a very different thing.
Different, yeah.
than
Very different, especially if
Catholicism.
they're, especially depending on how strict of Presbyterian they are.
Yeah,
Yes,
there was, she wasn't, but
Well, I mean, as far as the church. 'cause,
yeah, exactly. So anyway, I get up one morning, 7 a.m. I'm trying to get myself together.
Still half asleep, probably.
Yes, I'm very much still. I'm much more sociable after 2 glasses of bourbon.
Well, aren't we all?
in the morning? But at 7 a.m. in the morning, I'm basically I'm basically grunts and one syllables. But I come out of the bedroom, I'm getting ready to leave for work at 7 a.m. The wife's already been up for an hour and a half or so. She's already done a workout and she's making her breakfast. She's a very much a morning person. So she wants to connect with him. And I come out and she's on the phone with him over Discord in the kitchen, and she's discussing or he's explaining transubstantiation to her. And I'm like,
Wow.
shit, I got to get out of the house.
Too early for this shit, huh?
I can't do this.
Martin came out of his bedroom and into the twilight zone.
This is not something I expected to have happen in my life. My youngest is
And what
explaining.
was her intake on getting this information?
Yeah, we never really heard her response.
I think she just kind of okay.
And listeners,
I'm
for
like,
those
I'm
of you
out
who
the
are
door.
unaware, transubstantiation is the belief in Catholicism that the bread and wine brought forth during the Mass is changed into the body and blood of Jesus Christ.
yes.
Yes. So
now-
that's what's being explained to me at 7 a.m.
see, and
on a work day.
I get this, and I get the response that he got because as a convert myself, I know exactly what he's going through.
He's
'Cause
excited.
You are excited, and when you believe, and all of this opens up to you, it's a much wider world. No offense is meant at any of our separated brothers and sisters. None at all.
Come home.
Right, and to me that's not an offense, although many of them would take it that way. Becoming Catholic, it opens up your theology in ways not to error as some would like to think, but to a fuller understanding of what
The implications of faith.
yeah
A completeness. It brings that
completeness
to-
yeah. And when you get to that point, especially for a convert, converts, if they stick with it, are generally far more faithful than the average cradle Catholic.
Yeah.
And by average, I'm including all of those who have, are at best Creasters, Christmas and Easter.
That's because they understand the why behind.
Yes, they understand the why. They understand.
Yeah, and that's it's a journey. And
yes.
he's analyzing.
And you're excited about that.
He's
you
an
know?
that's who he is. He analyzes life, and decided to undertake this journey.
We need to get him some Aquinas because he would love Aquinas.
Oh, he would love it. Yes,
Yes.
he would love it. So listeners, help me out and cross your fingers that he gets to come home soon. He's got to want to,
Yes.
and that we can set him up with a job somewhere. Listeners, he's a STEM graduate that speaks at least 3 languages. He's
What's the other one?
German. He took like
Das ist sehr gut, jawohl.
Yeah.
he's like at 6 years of German. Now he was
So-
I don't know.
Well, all he
Yeah,
needs
you
to do
do.
is learn Italian, and he's got the entire Axis covered.
Yeah. So I mean,
Good
he
Lord.
learned Icelandic basically on his own. He's N2 certified in Japanese, and that's there's only 5 levels, and so he only has one. He's only been over there 2 years.
So does it go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1?
Yeah,
So he's
yeah.
okay.
So he has the N1 test is in the winter. So he's already N2 certified in Japanese.
So you just got one level to go.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, legal Japanese is what he isn't really good at. But conversational, everyday speaking with people.
Right. And he teaches the English as a second language classes.
Yes, yeah, he assists in teaching English in Japan, in Tokyo. He's an amazing
So and
kid.
he recently rekindled the relationship that he had with his.
Yeah, it's kind of there. It's still going.
That's good because we
His
obviously-
conversion is affecting the relationship a bit because
right? Because she is not Catholic.
she's not Catholic.
It's not to say a Catholic can't marry a Shinto, or for far as I know, she could be an atheist. I
Whatever
don't
she
know.
is, yeah.
Because certainly that's a possibility in this day and age.
He's been worrying us because he's changing apartments, and he had quite a thing getting his first apartment in Tokyo.
Yes, that was a
It's
major.
very
deal, yeah.
challenging. But his lease is now up, and he's moving, and he's going to move closer to his work and closer to parish,
Which is a good thing.
Sounds good.
so he doesn't have to take the train quite as far to get to parish. His deacon at his parish in Tokyo is, I believe, he said Canadian,
Yeah.
and has lived in Japan 50 years.
He's like 96.
wow.
or
He's
something
like
that.
96. Yes.
Wow.
So he's been in contact with Francis here, and
Yeah, we've had several long conversations over Zoom. Yeah.
yeah. So he's use Francis as a mentor.
I am honored.
Question.
Yes.
So to bring it back to the theme of the quote,
Yes.
did he have reluctance to talk about this to you? Because obviously this
No.
is a major step for someone in your family.
You don't know him very well.
Well, no, I
has-
did
he
not
has-
think he
He
did.
has
I'm
no
just-
reluctance to talk about anything with anybody.
No, I get that. It's the question is not rhetorical, but it's to bring the discussion back
Yes.
around.
Go ahead.
So he had no reluctance to
Yeah.
bring this forward. So this is not something he felt he needed to hide. But how long ago did he start thinking, hey, this Catholic stuff might be real? Might
You
be
know,
true?
I don't recall. I don't recall.
Because I'm willing to bet that there was a time where he maybe not intentionally keeping it hidden,
I mean,
but
certainly.
just mulling and stewing in his
It was
head.
embryonic. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
And what about you? Were you okay with him exploring this?
Yeah, it's his journey.
Well, and Martin probably could have taught him half of what he needed to know.
He's the most Catholic un-Catholic that I know.
Yeah, he's the most Catholic pagan you'll ever find. Which one of these days, if nothing else, we'll drown him in the Tiber and say, oh, shame he died while he was being baptized.
Yeah,
elevator goes straight to the top.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, we always could go down the shooting ring and trip him and fall into the creek. When y'all be
right.
ready for the moment.
well,
right.
I'm hoping to go out like Albert Camus,
In a car
in
wreck
a car wreck
with your
with
publisher.
my publisher.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think Tony wants to go out that
Hold on,
way.
wait,
No,
didn't
if
he
I
go
end
with
up
his
being published by
manuscript in the
Tony.
trunk? He was
Yes.
he was unpublished
Yes.
at the time.
No, he was published. It's just his newest thing. He was returning to Paris, yes, with a manuscript and his publisher, and they had a wreck in their Fossil Vega, which is kind of like the American equivalent of a
Yugo.
57 Chevy.
Oh wow. Yeah.
It was a huge car for Europe,
Yeah. Well, that doesn't take much. European cars.
Yeah, I mean they're only as big as this couch, most of them.
Yeah, and certainly length, not width.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
That's not what she said?
It's not
Yeah,
the length;
that's-
it's
yeah.
the girth.
well, yeah.
That's what she said.
I mean,
Yeah, that's what she said.
unfortunately, on this couch, Robert and I are like too far apart.
We are because I
Like,
can't even,
yeah,
can't even
yeah.
reach his butt at all. We can.
Oh, my.
Excuse
That's
me while I go
dark
throw up.
thoughts. Who's
Okay.
dark passengers
Wait,
showing
I
through?
thought you were
Bring us
trying to get
back.
us back on topic, Harry.
He just did.
Well, yeah.
dark
yeah.
passenger just popped up.
That's right. The dark passenger just popped up. You know,
But I think that is the interesting part of this. We've taken it. Pardon me. That Nulu's coming back up. We've gone very, very dark with this about hiding, homicidal ideas. But again, we hide a lot more than that.
we do. Sometimes we hide stuff that is either objectively good or objectively neutral that can be used for good, either because, as I was talking about with my ministry work, I often feel like I'm not enough or not good enough at it, that I'm a horrible deacon. And other than sharing it with all of our vast number of listeners and you guys, I don't talk about that very much. I tend to be self-deprecating when it comes to compliments and what have you, because it's not necessarily that they embarrass me, because there's a little bit of that. I think when people praise you, when you don't feel like you're entirely worthy. But yeah, we don't always. You're right. We don't always hide the dark stuff. Obviously, the psychopath or the sociopath may think, well, that's not dark. That's just normal. Why do I have
Let's
to
take
hide
it
it?
a
As
little.
you fellas know, I've done a few good deeds here and there throughout
Yes.
my life, but I never publicize it or make a big deal of it. And I usually keep it very, very quiet when I do.
Right.
That's not something to toss out there to me. I mean,
That's because you don't do it for the accolades.
well, that, and I don't want people lining up wanting something either.
Well,
So
there's
there is some selfishness to that, too. I mean, there's two sides of that coin.
Yeah.
right. No, that's a good point.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, somebody wins the lottery, your whole family you ain't seen in 50 years lines up behind you with a handout.
That's right. As the great Alex P. Keaton once said, he wanted to be rich enough to build a fence to keep the poor relatives out. A big enough fence. So
But let's take it to a little lighter level. We're talking homicide, very dark things. What about the old adage of, do you want the husband answer or the truth? If your wife comes in and says, "Does this make me look fat?" And you say, "Oh no, dear." We hide that. If maybe this wouldn't be my wife, but maybe somebody else. But
I was going to say, mine's going to say, you better tell me I look fat, and that I'll kill you.
but
If you let me go outside.
we hide some of the things that we do to protect others that we love.
well, I think that's less hiding in terms of this quote, so much as it is. I don't want to say necessarily lying for the good, because lying for the good of the other is not really a defensible, logical statement. However, trying to frame the response of, does this make me look fat, in a way that will, one, not cause a 3-hour argument or berating of how little you love the other person and disrespect them and what have you, but also if it's unflattering, you want to convey that no, I don't think you should wear that because that's it's not a good.
not
You might put it as like, oh well, that's okay, but I like you better in this.
Well, you could reframe and go, no, it doesn't make you look fat, but it doesn't really compliment your figure.
Exactly.
It doesn't flatter you,
Yeah.
sweetie.
And I think that's different from the hiding.
I mean, it,
Well,
it
that-
is a different approach than going, woo, doggies, no, whoa, no. You gotta
That
take
looks like
off."
two pigs wrestling in a sack.
Well, yeah, if I can't tell Mrs. Robert, I hate to see you leave, but I love to watch you walk away. It's which
You gotta remember that. That's very.
I always
I've
fall
heard
back
that
to
one.
I enjoy view coming and going either way.
that's right. But to me, the hiding, generally we hide stuff because we're either embarrassed by it or ashamed of it, or
Is there a difference?
no, yes,
But
yes,
There's a
yes.
social convention too that.
Yeah, or we think we'll get in trouble for whatever it is.
I mean,
Yes, you look fat.
we have the great imperator doesn't hide anything.
no. Sometimes I wish he would hide a few
And
things.
right, exactly. Is sometimes there's a social convention of, yo, dog, hold that thought.
Yeah.
Or
thank
maybe
you.
he
Thank you, 'cause-
hides quite a bit, and we're better off not knowing that he's hiding quite a bit.
that could
You
be
know,
possible
eh?
too.
Well, as long as I have known the Imperator, which I've known him here longer than
Yeah,
anybody.
This is true.
Not quite as long as you have known Francis, but actually, I've known you longer than I've known
Yes,
the
yes,
Imperator.
yes.
But it's close enough as to make no difference.
August 1984.
That's right. Whereas him,
I
it
don't
would have
even
been-
remember who introduced us. I remember you, but I don't remember who introduced us. But somebody came up and said, "Hey, you've got to read this guy's comics."
I thought we were in the same orientation group.
I don't think we were in the same group.
Then I was in the same group with Tram or one of the other with the other Brian. What was the other Brian?
Well, no, Brian, the
No,
other
'cause he was
Brian,
older.
He was older. He
was older.
transferred in later,
That's right.
so he wasn't with
So
us.
I think
at
it was
freshman orientation.
It might have been Trammell then. But anyways,
And he said,
however,
like this guy's got this great comic strip. You got to read it.
yeah, it was August of 1984. Whereas with the Imperator, it would have been August, September, maybe October, depending when theater stuff started. Of 85, so a year at best.
Yeah.
give or
Oh
take.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know that he's ever really hidden anything. But you know what? That's only because if he does hide anything, it's minimal. Which on the one hand, you can argue is a great thing because he is both comfortable with his own thoughts and also doesn't give a flying rat's ass what others think. But that said, I don't think there's a person alive that doesn't hold something back.
And there's a couple of different ways to hide too.
And there are different ways to hide.
and
things.
especially when you talk to the Imperator, he's actually a pretty decent fella.
Oh, he is absolutely.
But
there's-
he likes to play at being this outlier.
He
this-
does.
This person outside society, and that's
He
know,
in
that's a-
college he used to.
that's a way of hiding.
Yes, in college he used to proclaim being a communist, and as I like to point out to him, it's like, dude, if the communist revolution comes, you're going to be the first
First one
guy they put up
shot.
against the wall.
Yeah, you're gonna be the first one shot, dude.
Yeah.
He hides through bombacity.
Well,
Yeah,
you
that
can make the argument
eccentricity, yeah.
let's put it. Yeah, I think it's a great way to put it. That eccentricity is a way to hide stuff that you are either not necessarily ashamed of, but we all have certain things that
it's a way of trying to fit in with a society that maybe you don't understand, or
mi-
a social construct that you don't understand.
I don't know. Well, with the Imperator, I don't know.
He
It's a
understands.
fitting in as much as it is a standing out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Because sometimes you want to stand out because you want to be unique,
And sometimes you can hide in the spotlight too.
and
Yes.
sometimes the standing out.
Yes.
It-
yes.
you
exact-
focus
and-
on-
right.
If you
You're-
focus on X, it hides Y.
Yes.
That,
You're-
that
you're-
usually
And it's not to
describes
say that-
magic. Here, look at the left hand and don't look at what the right
yeah.
hand's
I
doing.
mean that you could make that argument here. I think with this quote.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has thoughts that we would never share out loud. I'm sure the Imperator has them. I'm sure you've had them.
The ones that the Imperator wouldn't share out loud.
I don't want to know.
Talk about scary.
No, I think he brings up the ludicrous to avoid the common.
Well, that could be. I mean, there's certainly that's a valid hypothesis. And I don't mean to psychoanalyze the Imperator.
We don't have
not
enough time.
being here.
True.
But or anybody else in this room, when I pointed to Cajun when I said the remark earlier. I'm sure you have thoughts that you don't share, because of the six of us, you and the Imperator are the ones most likely to share things that make other people uncomfortable.
Very true. Very true.
Whether that be now with the Imperator, it's going to be things that they don't like to hear about.
Yeah. And he enjoys the shock value.
And he enjoys the shock value. Whereas with you, I believe that it is less things that intentionally shock people so much as it is, this is just what I think, and I don't care if you like that or not.
That is pretty much true.
I think
There's also a
Cajun-
level of humor involved.
Yeah, I
in it,
mean,
too.
Cajun
Yes.
likes to push people out of their boxes. So when Cajun brings up something that's an outlier, I think he's honestly trying to let people know, hey, there are different ways to view things.
I
And
would,
your experience isn't the only experience that's valid.
yeah.
You-
Yeah, I would
you
say
know,
that's
wi-
probably
with
true.
the Imperator. Yes, it's a little bit of shock. It's a little bit of humor and crazy. But I think
Yes,
Cajun-
his sense of humor is a bit twisted. Is the most twisted of the six.
But
of
I think
us.
Cajun is very honestly telling people, hey, your experience is this, but there are lots of other experiences out there that lots of people go through things in life.
Hey,
where-
it's
where
wake the F up. You ain't the center of the universe.
Right. And it's you search for a destiny, and Cajun's comfortable with the idea of continuing to search, where a lot of people are not. They find a
Right.
spot, they get in it. I'm good. I'm watching TV and I'm happy.
And and there's nothing wrong with that. Let's because
Right.
you,
But Cajun,
some people are
Cajun does the opposite of
Yeah,
saying
well-
it's okay to continue searching.
right, but some people, and I don't want because I want to make this for me philosophically. The reason I say there's nothing wrong with that finding that spot is that some people, either intellectually, morally, ethically, just the ability to think deep thoughts, they go to a certain point and they either can't or won't go beyond it.
Yeah.
Because some of us are very comfortable with pushing our own boundaries and going to spaces where, that challenge us. And some people are not. And again, there's nothing wrong with that because that is some people can push them. Everybody pushes ourselves to a certain
Right.
degree. Okay.
Some of us pull the blinds down,
And some of us,
don't.
yeah, right. Some of us can only push ourselves so far, and we find that ultimate comfort zone. They stop there. Now, as long as you are still living an authentic life, in the sense that, all right, I have my moral code because I don't care what anybody says. Everybody has a moral code, and all of them are rooted in your personal belief of what is right and wrong. Now, whether that is the consensus right and wrong of society is an entirely different thing. But everybody has a code of what is right and wrong. Even Dexter.
Yes. Yes, he does.
Especially, matter of fact, especially Dexter, I would argue.
He sticks to it more than most people would stick to what they have.
Exactly. So there's nothing wrong with finding that comfortable spot. If I'm going to work and doing my 40 to 50 hours per week, and I'm coming home and I'm taking care of my family, I'm playing with
Yeah,
my kids,
yeah, yep.
I'm watching television at night, I'm not beating my wife, I'm not screaming at the kids. I would argue you're living a better life than a lot of people who are trying to go beyond that because you are not doing anything that harms somebody else. Far
Yeah,
too
yeah.
often, that
Well, I'll
part
just-
that we try to hide, when it does come out, is harmful, and I think that's why we hide it.
If you're not pushing yourself to grow better, then I think you're harming yourself.
Yeah,
Well-
there is a sadness and a finiteness to, intellectually speaking, pulling the blinds down and sitting on the couch.
For us, For us, it would be that way.
Yeah.
I don't believe that that's true for everybody. So,
Yeah.
Brother Andre,
Okay.
your comment that the lack of growth is a bad thing. The way I forget exactly even though it's just a few seconds ago.
I'll concede to your analysis.
Living your best life, to me, doesn't have to be an ever-growing either intellectual accumulation of knowledge, philosophical deepening of understanding of life, or even a deepening of your religious understanding of life. If you live your life and what you understand is right and wrong to the best of your ability, that is you making the world a better place.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there's a lot to be said
so
for
pulling the blinds, for the way Martin puts it, to me that implies that you're shutting yourself off from reality. That's not necessarily the case. Now, there are people who do that.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the main thing is
The
this
people do shut themselves
this
off.
idea of an unexamined life of I don't want to know nothing new. I don't care what's going on. I'm gonna pull the blinds down. I'm gonna watch, a 30-year-old sitcom and not ever do anything.
As Roseanne plays in the background on the television here.
Yeah. That's that would just feel so sad to
There's
all
a-
of us.
Right.
It's
right.
anathema to us.
There's a difference, though, between refusing to see the world and not needing
Sure.
to see it.
Sure.
Well, we're hitting about the end of this. About time to wrap it up because we got some food waiting, and somebody needs to get on the road here after they eat
Yep,
and
yep.
everything. And I like where this quote went. Took us all in different places and looking at different things. And I think that everybody keeps a little something of themselves to themselves, no matter whether it's good, bad, embarrassment, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And to me, it's more about the journey than the destination. Some people, it's the destination. They get in a spot, they're comfy, you pull the blinds down. To me, it's ever the journey. There's no end. You might have an ideal of a destination in mind, but it's still a journey,
yes,
even
as
after you
I-
head towards it.
As I have commented before, and I think this is a positive thing, the road to success or the road to ultimate fulfillment, if you prefer, is always under construction. Some people take that as a negative. I take that the way Brother Andre takes it as you're always working on things to be better. And
Yeah, I mean, says all of us that are, trying to become 59-year-old first-time novelists. I mean, why not push your boundaries, push yourself
Right.
out of your comfort spot? And I have you guys to thank for that. This podcast and what you all have pushed me to do is I'm opening the blinds on my house
sure.
and finding this journey and understanding, yes, I can change that path anytime. And I can change the outlook and say, you know what? The journey can be more fun when I didn't think that possibly before.
And
So that was an excellent way to frame it.
yes, and there are
Cajun,
some things we do
excellent.
keep hidden that other people need to draw out.
Yeah.
And you are the perfect example of that.
Yeah.
That we have drawn out something that you didn't even think.
Yeah, I mean,
You could
listeners,
do.
when we talk about the brotherhood, we're not kidding. That's not just a thing that we're joking about. I mean, yes, we kid about stuff like that and use it as humor, but it's real and it's never been more real. Even though some of us known each other for 50 years, it's growing deeper every time we do this.
But part of the brotherhood is not only to celebrate the victories of those that we surround ourselves with, but it's also to put a boot in the ass of those that need to do something better and are capable of doing it.
Absolutely.
Excuse my language.
I know you want to wrap up, Cajun, but I feel like Francis is either totally drugged out on the medication that he has required of late to make the pain subside. But I would like to hear his thoughts because he's really been quiet on this.
He had
episode.
something he was going to say, and so I was making sure.
Oh, was okay because I didn't.
Turn it
'Cause
over to him.
I'm to look at you. The rest of you guys, I don't get a chance to see him, so I missed
Yeah, you
that. So,
guys
but
take
I
it-
do want to hear what you have to say.
You do take it into an amazing location as always. I kind of have to go with Andre on a lot of this. and Martin here too, not moving forward. You know, they say if you're not growing, you're dying. I don't like that. I think that's too absolute. But I do think the way of not doing that, of moving forward, trying to be better, I'll give you the caveat: if your health allows, both mental and
Yeah.
physical, you have to have that. Otherwise, it's not possible. But given that you are in a relatively good health, if you don't do that, it leads to apathy, and I think that's a dangerous place to be.
Yeah.
I think that's very inhumane because apathy leads to where you don't care about anybody else, and you become, God save me, Martin, the guy that's screaming, "Get off my lawn!"
Well, yeah, it leads to an
I mean,
ultra.
you could be a little of both.
It leads to an ultra.
With a warning shot.
Well, you do want a nice lawn, and you don't want.
Well, yeah, and you don't want people to trample all over
of course,
that. And,
but you know,
and what
I'm
have you.
speaking the extreme version.
Well, and you know that can also lead you to a very extreme form of individualism where you are the only person that matters.
Yeah, you're the only arbiter.
But I think where I differ in what we've talked about, where I'm again, you know, mean to be the contrary one, but when we talk
Be contrary.
But when we talk philosophy, I like to be contrary.
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
And this is very much a philosophical discussion. What looks like to us something very sad, to use Martin's
Yeah.
label, is a very judgmental way of looking at things because we don't know what's going on internally with somebody that looks like they are just satisfied with the status quo where they are.
That's why I made my caveat.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean,
presuming
it's not
that-
even. It doesn't even have to be a health issue.
Well, it can be a mental health one though.
That's
Or
what I was-
even, but even it doesn't even have to be. See, again, it doesn't have to be either.
Yeah.
You have somebody that's perfectly physically and mentally healthy,
And wants to be a sheep.
but it's not even necessarily a sheep.
That one.
It's not even necessarily being a sheep. Because again, I go back to, you know, if you are living out either your faith, your values, however you put that, that in its own way is it's a different form of growth. All right, it's a different form of making society better. You know, to some it might look like hiding your light under a bushel basket.
Yeah, to use the
But to others, but to that person, you know, it might not be. You know, it may look like a very boring, lacking life, but that doesn't make it so for that person.
Yeah.
And again, not because that makes it sound like I'm being very touting individualism to a great degree, which I like individualism because it's what makes each of us unique. For
I'm an
obviously,
individual, so am I.
but
I appreciate
our experiences are very
Yeah.
my experiences can only be experienced by me.
yours. Yeah.
So for me to say you're living a very sad life because you're not doing the things that I think you should do or the things that fulfill me is a very elitist way to go about life, and I cannot do that.
I appreciate that your faith leads you to that kind of an understanding and sympathy. That's wonderful. I'm just, for me, as I'm trying to explore this idea of Albert Camus and absurdism, that little rebellion, whatever little rebellion it is so meaningful. It's how you cope with an absurd world. I have to get there.
Yes,
I have to get there.
that's your journey.
That's yeah. So it's that level of sympathy for the person who isn't on a journey is hard for me.
well,
And
there is a
and
sanctity.
again, I admire that your faith takes you
To me,
to
it's not
that
even
sympathy.
it's not a faith issue to me.
Yeah.
Because
But that's how you get there, though.
Well, I mean-
because I know you and
but a lot
I
of that comes from my beliefs prior to becoming
Yeah.
Catholic. But again, it's projecting your standards and beliefs on
it is
somebody
It is.
else,
It is.
and it's a very subjective thing.
It is. I totally agree with you.
It's not, and again, I'm
It's
not
just-
one of those.
It's hard for me to get there.
Yeah, well, I get that. For me, it's not. I have a hard time, and again, this is not me saying, well, everybody can do whatever they want, and that's okay, because I don't believe that, because I think there are morals and norms that
Yeah.
we should abide by wherever possible. But to project my standards on somebody else that is something that is totally subjective to them, how they experience the world. To me, that is not respecting the inherent dignity of the human person.
Thank you.
There you go. Yeah.
And with that note, do anybody else want to add anything here? Oh, shall we send it on out, Francis?
Send it to Francis for what's next.
Well, we're kind of in flux at the moment, actually, because we're not sure what's next. We were talking about doing the first of a 2-part Napoleon. But
that was next, wasn't it?
It was
Yes.
next.
Yes.
But we've had a conversation. I've had a conversation with an author friend of ours that 4 of us have met, Mick Williams.
the
who is
great Mick.
The great Mick Williams from Stoke-on-Trent in England. Published 14 books here locally. Lives just right around the corner from me, if I believe it or not. He's asked to come on the show.
Oh, we would love to
So
have Mick on.
we're going to do a Hoopajube next time. with Mick.
Hoopajube.
And we're just going to talk about. We're going to talk about writing again, the writing journey, the creative journey, all that sort of stuff. You know, we shine really well when we do that. So you're gonna have a great episode next time.
So just be ready for anything can happen next. We might have to default back to Napoleon, but hopefully we'll get this chance.
And
to have
plus,
Mick on.
3 of us will be down at BoucherCon in New Orleans here coming
That's
up.
exactly
too, which
right.
will
So
probably
that's-
be-
That's right.
So we'll have a lot of talk. We got a lot to talk about next time. So be here. One way or
Mick's
the
not
other.
going to BoucherCon, is he?
Not that I've heard. No.
Okay. Because that would be awesome too.
Wouldn't it, though?
Because we have 4 of us to yeah.
Record it at Badger Count.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong with that either.
We have the
technology.
technology.
I'll make an excuse to go to New Orleans anytime.
There you go. Anyway, so that would be next.
Amen.
We hope you enjoyed another pointless discussion of eternal questions. Remember, new episodes drop every second and fourth Friday at 6 a.m. Eastern, just in time for your morning commute. And every fifth Friday, we drop a special Hoopajube episode. Spread the word we are on all the major platforms, and leave us a review. That helps others find us. We're also on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, as well as our website, snakesandotters.com. Join us next time. Same snake time, same otter channel.